welcome to this week's edition of Chuck's Culture Channel. And this time around, I'm talking with Carrie Houk, the Executive Artistic Director of the Tennessee Williams Festival of St. Louis. The 8th annual festival runs from September 7th through 17th, 2023. The featured play this year is Suddenly Last Summer, which happens at the 450-seat Burgess Theater at Coca right behind me. There's also a veritable cornucopia of other events, including Something Spoken, a series of Williams radio plays on Classical 107.3. Check out the video description field below for more information. As a pre-festival event, singer, actress, and self-described glitter alien Amy Jo Jackson presented The Brass Menagerie, her Tennessee Williams Cabaret, here in St. Louis back in May. Here's her take on Suddenly Last Summer.
Miss Catherine Hawley is ill, or so her aunt would have us believe. She and her cousin Sebastian went to Mexico together for the summer, but only one of them returned. And her account of what transpired is so bizarre, so obscene, so queer, that Catherine's aunt, cousin Sebastian's mother, has invited a doctor, a psychiatrist, to examine the young hysteric. Oh, the air is buzzing with the hum of crickets and talk of lobotomies. Can you hear it? The doctor injects Miss Catherine with a drug, which induces a vision, the memory of that fateful afternoon.
Did anything happen there that disturbed you?
Yes. Sebastian was lonely, Doctor. When the weather got warmer and the beach so crowded, he didn't need me anymore to attract attention for him. So I'd go to a little far away end of the beach till it was 5 o'clock and time to meet him outside the bathhouses. He'd come out, followed.
Who would follow him out?
People. People who eat. People. They're the hungriest people in the world. They're children. Naked, hungry children. On a beach, there's no place to hide. Plus, they all live outside. All those naked, starving children.
Okay, well, that was Amy Jo Jackson's take on Suddenly Last Summer, but let's get curious for just a moment. Suddenly Last Summer, the opening show officially of the Tennessee Williams Festival, and Carrie Houk, welcome to the Chuck's Culture Channel video blog.
Thank you for having me, Chuck. I'm happy to be here.
So let's talk about Suddenly Last Summer. I mean, really, the real one, which people are going to see at the Burgess Theater right behind me.
Yes, the beautiful Catherine Burgess Theater at Coca. We're so happy to be inside a theater. I do want to say that briefly after, well, we haven't been inside a proper theater since 2019.
Yeah.
So it feels gorgeous to be back with dressing rooms and no porta potties. No, yeah. I mean, we actually have accoutrements that we haven't had in a long time and in a beautiful space and plenty of parking. Awesome. So we're very happy to be there, and they've been very welcoming to us. So we are opening September 7th with Suddenly Last Summer, and it's a doozy. I mean, you know, we're trying it in our first years. We're actually in year 8 now, but to, you know, bring St. Louis the titles, the ones that of Tennessee plays the Tennessee Williams that they're familiar with. And this is a big one. And most of the people know the film. Not as many people have seen a play, you know, the
Right.
play. But I think it's one of his best written. I believe the language is every bit as strong as it is in Streetcar or Summer and Smoke or Night of the Iguana, his top plays. It's gorgeous language. And I think it's provocative, interesting, frightening on many levels.
Yeah.
On many levels. I mean, there's a lot at stake in the play. And I think, it's a short play. It's a one-act play, but it plays, in our day and age, a 90-minute play is the way you want to go, in my opinion.
Yeah, well,
And,
that's become the common format.
yeah. So it's a long one act. If anything, it might be a little over that. But we're going to play it straight through. And to me, it's like, buckle up, everybody, because it's going to be like getting on a roller coaster.
Yeah, fasten your seat belts. We're in for a bumpy night, to quote a line.
Yeah.
Applause. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it does, of course, culminate in a rather shocking act of violence, which I don't think we need to go into a lot of depth on.
Exactly. But, to me, the play is very timely. And it's one of the reasons I wanted to do it, because a lot of the themes are prevalent today. I mean, people's different versions of the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And if one has a strong enough objective to get what they want, then maybe their truth is going to be slightly skewed from what is really true.
Yeah.
And everyone in this play has high stakes, some more than others. And there are many different versions of the truth. And when I said it was thought-provoking, the audience will be sitting there along with the characters in the play wondering what the truth is. And maybe even on their way to the car. So we don't give too much away, but it's a very interesting, complicated, but not complicated in that you won't know what's going on, but it's thought-provoking.
Mm-hmm.
We address homophobia and familial relationships.
Yeah.
Are very strong in this play. And I don't know, it's not boring. No one's gonna doze off.
Yeah. Well, it's almost operatic in a way.
Yes, very much so.
Which I guess kind of makes it appropriate that your director is Tim O'Sell, who has quite a background in opera here in St. Louis as a director.
Well, and nationally too.
Mm-hmm.
So and Tim has a strong background in opera, and he's one of our favorite directors. Tim has brought us two of our most successful productions, Streetcar Named Desire and The Night of the Iguana, as well as directing some of our radio productions. And when I was thinking about this season, after doing The Rose Tattoo with a cast of 19, and circus performers and animals and tents, etc., I liked the idea of streamlining down to 7 characters.
Yeah.
With a play that is really about the play. It's about the play. And it's Tim's favorite play. And I wanted him back. And I knew he picks and chooses, he picks and chooses these days. And I knew I could get him back with that one. So it was time we did it. And I knew we'd have a real theater. Chuck, my dream was to do it at the Botanical Garden.
Oh.
Initially, Tim and I years ago looked at the Temperate House, which isn't the building at the Botanical Garden that most people are familiar with. It's sort of to the right of the Climatron, and it's full of Venus flytraps. And there's a courtyard in the middle with this. Have you been in there? It's like Moorish.
Not in a long time.
Staircase. So it would have been pretty darn dramatic, but we're creating that on our own in a much more pleasant atmosphere of a theater, I think.
More comfortable.
Let me say comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah. Now you briefly referred to the radio plays that you're doing. Let's talk about some of the other things that are part of the festival, because there's an audio equivalent as well, and there are other events going on. You want to touch briefly on some of the highlights?
Yeah, so amping up to the festival, we're doing a repeat of our spring shows, our radio shows on Classic 107. So those are running now every Saturday afternoon at 3:30 on Classic 107. And what's wonderful about this year, I call it our year of shadow and light, because there are references to shadow and light in the play, but also just in terms of our lives. I feel like we're coming out of the shadows of the pandemic, and we're sort of back to our old selves. We haven't really had a full festival roster not fully since 2019. We've had a little bit here and there, but this one's the full Monty. So we have Suddenly Last Summer. We're doing a staged reading of Something Unspoken, which was written as sort of the curtain raiser for Something Unspoken initially under the helm the Garden District plays. Oh. So we're doing that as a staged reading at a beautiful mansion on Del Mar that's owned by the mayor of University City, Terry Crow. And nice. He's opening up the doors for us, and it's going to play in the foyer of his home with Brenda Curran and Julie Layton, who are doing our radio version of it. And they'll repeat the performances live there. But we're not literally doing it as a curtain raiser immediately before Suddenly Last Summer. People can go at 5:30 on Friday to see that, and then come see Suddenly Last Summer, which is 5 minutes away at Coca.
Yeah.
Maybe right in between. Same with the matinees over the weekend, etc. So the schedule's all on our website. We have our scholars panels, which we have never stopped even through the pandemic, and they will be held at Coca. Each one has something to do with either our theme or Tennessee's years in University City. One of the panels I'm very excited about is featuring Tom Mitchell. He is our scholar in residence.
And I know Tom. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, Tom edited a book of short stories that was recently published, actually in this past spring, by New Directions, called The Caterpillar Dogs and Other Early Stories. And they were all written by Williams early in his career, before he was Tennessee, actually, when he was still Thomas Lanier Williams. And I'm in love with this book. I read it in one sitting. It's about 12 short stories, and they all take place in Missouri or St. Louis, and they're beautiful. We featured one in the theater showcase a few weeks ago, in Grand Center, and the audience was really rapt. It was called Season of Grapes, and it takes place outside of Branson, Missouri in the 30s, before it was Las Vegas. And it's just gorgeous. And I want to turn it into a film. I want to adapt it for film because it's very visual, and again, the language. Then we're doing one on mental health because of the issues in Suddenly Last Summer. Yeah. So the panels are going to be just fabulous. We have one on St. Louis and the blues and Tennessee Williams. We have a University City walking tour because the Williams lived on Enright Avenue for many years. It was one of the influences for the Glass Menagerie, and he went to U City High. And as one of our board members mentions, she had the same English teacher as Williams.
Oh, wow.
And he told her, I flunked Tennessee Williams, and I can flunk you too.
You're mentioning all these things reminds me that most people may not realize just how much there was to Tennessee Williams' output. I mean, I think most folks will think of a handful of plays, Streetcar Named Desire and Night of the Iguana and so on, but I don't think most people are aware of just how much is out there.
We could be doing this for 50 years and not repeat anything, maybe longer. I mean, honestly. Yeah. And, I actually love a lot of the unknown pieces. And some of his early work is just, it's just gorgeous. And you really understand the depth of his gift as a writer. And he wrote every day. He wrote every single day of his life.
Yeah.
No matter what was going on, he wrote. So there's a lot of work.
Yeah.
We're bringing in a company with St. Louis Polonia from Poland of the Glass Menagerie, Teatro Basa. They're only going to do it once. As I said, St. Louis Polonia is co-producing it. Well, we're not producing. We're both presenting this production that's gorgeous. I've seen clips of it. I met the director when I was in New Orleans this past year, and I'm so excited. That'll be on September 13th at the Chapel.
Oh, okay. The Chapel venue
off of Skinker. I love that venue.
Yeah.
So St. Louis is co-oping with us to do a screening of Cat on a Hot Tin Roof at the High Point
Okay.
And a lot of people, I'm thrilled, but a little surprised that so many people are like, wow, because you can watch things on TV, but they want to see it on the big screen again. So that'll be fun. And then we're going to have a talk about it following the screening. Or no, actually, I think we're going to do it before so people don't have to wait after the movie's over.
Okay. Well, I will have links in the video description.
All of it. It's all on our website. We're doing a late night poetry slam at Blueberry Hill.
Okay.
And it's not that late night because our play is so short. So that's wonderful. We have a 7:30 curtain this time. And the show will come down around 9, which is awesome. Love that.
Okay. So a very rich assortment of events at the Williams Festival this year. Carrie, thanks so much for taking some time to talk to us about it. Once again, everybody, if you need to know more, check some of the links in the video description field below. And please tell your friends and your enemies, whoever, about Chuck's Culture Channel. Let's make this go viral. Let's get a lot of people watching it. Your one-stop shop for performing arts in St. Louis and elsewhere. Carrie, thanks for being here on the show, and all you folks out there on the internet.
Thank you, Chuck, for all you do.
Thank you, Carrie, for all you do. All right.
See you at the festival.
See y'all later. Bye.
Bye.